Timberwolves fans wanted the segment on the show, and they're getting the segment on the show.
You wanted it.
Playback wasn't enough.
But you want to know why it's warranted? It's warranted because they're on a 4-game win streak. Knicks, Hawks, Warriors, Kings.
All close games.
Karl Anthony Towns is back. 22 points versus the Hawks. 14 points and the dagger 3 versus the Golden State Warriors.
I'll give it to him. That shot was lit.
And my, oh my. I mean, on Twitter, I made a take that it was very controversial, even though it got more likes than quote tweets for sure. You always like that. But it got a lot of quote tweets. I said, Ant-Man and Jaden McDaniels have a similar season to Tatum and Brown. Brown's showing out, no doubt. We know Tatum's that guy. McDaniels in the month of March, and I understand it's insignificant compared to what Jaylen Brown is now. But in the month of March, he's averaged 15.5 points, shooting 51% from the field, 42% from 3. And his recent 1-point outing, because he was in foul trouble versus the Warriors, dropped this number down, but it was much higher. The offensive flashes have been there. And I'm looking forward to seeing this Jaden McDaniels consistent offensive scorer career arc. You have Ant-Man, who he's just working his way back from injury. There's a 6th seed currently. Listen, man, they can be some trouble in the playoffs. And like I told you.
Beat the Lakers in the play-in?
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about that.
Oh, they could easily beat the Lakers.
We need that for pick a side.
Jaden McDaniels would lock up LeBron.
We need Wolves Lakers for pick a side.
LeBron does not want that smoke no
gods, you heard us.
No player ever has locked up LeBron.
McDaniels already locked up LeBron this season. He's locked him up. He's locked him up. But, when I give my Timberwolves take in the offseason, I like to compare it to a crash, right? Because I've been involved in car accidents before. It wasn't my fault.
More than one.
I stopped at the red light. I'm looking at my surroundings, and bam, a truck hits me from the back. Not my fault, right? Cat being injured is not my fault. My reasonings for the Wolves being so good, Edwards leap. Oh, yeah, he took that. McDaniels all defense leap. Oh, yeah, he took that. Gobert defensively has really been an anchor for them recently. Their rebounding has gotten better with him. D'Lo is efficient this year. Trading for Mike Conley was a great move. All of the ingredients to the take were pretty correct. But for some reason, the ingredients were good, but once I put it to bake, it just came out burnt. But all the ingredients were right.
Never your fault. No way.
All the ingredients. I mean, yeah, Matt Ryan coach is just a disaster.
Star wings take a while to develop.
Yes.
Kawhi in his 3rd season averaged 12.8 points per game. How many points per game is Jaden McDaniels averaging this year?
12 a game.
So, what are we doing?
John,
why?
Don't feed into this, bro.
That's not insinuating that he's going to be
talent.
Kawhi. But when you watch Minnesota play, you see their size with Kyle Anderson, Slomo having such a big role offensively. But you also see with Jaden, he's a first-team all-defensive player. The same way Kawhi, by his 3rd or 4th season, was that. But offensively, he's got stop and pop mid-range. You saw that dunk yesterday on Domas. He didn't want no action. He didn't want no business like that in foul trouble already. I think Jaden has all the tools offensively to thrive as a 3rd piece. I spit my apologies all over this vicinity. I get excited watching him play because coming out of Washington, no one expected him to be the level of defender he is now. And he's just in year 3. He's just starting to finally realize his potential and come into his own for a Minnesota team that when they acquired Rudy, they needed a wing stopper that Rudy never had in Utah. And Jaden McDaniels has been even more than that. He's been a wing stopper with a ton of offensive polish and upside. And I think it's really, 22 years old, only a matter of time before we start to see him take another step forward, because that's all he's done through 3 seasons.
There's a reason why they didn't trade him.
They valued him over those additional 3 first-round picks and Walker Kessler.
See, and let me just ask this question because, sometimes I guess, hey, you need some time to develop, but
sure.
Cat was out for how many games? 30?
Basically the whole year.
40? He only played 29 up until he came back. So 40.
He missed a lot.
Why is it that only up until recently, Jaden McDaniels decided to cook up? How many games in between
D'Lo
that?
was on the team.
Okay. All right. It's a fair comeback.
It is. Cat's played 23 games this year.
Yeah, he's not playing all.
I'll say this, and I'll stop hating. I'll stop hating 100%. Only reason why I'm not happy at Jaden McDaniels' recent resurgence is because this happened immediately correlated with that statement. Ever since that statement, Jaden McDaniels has been unbelievable.
The energy shifted.
Awesome.
He saw the disrespect.
I definitely did not disrespect him. More so, I praised and raised up
You were one of the
Jaylen
first people to
Brown.
quote tweet my tweet.
I did not. I actually didn't. Oh wait, I did.
You
I
did
said
quote
delete
tweet.
this. Absolutely. I was thinking about your Jokic. No, had
It
to.
was like, what is this?
Yeah, no, it's because you disrespected Jaylen Brown blatantly. And again, I'm glad you prefaced it saying, these aren't to compare to Jaylen Brown.
No, not to now, but year 3, Jaylen Brown versus year 3, McDaniels is similar.
The one thing I want to give unbelievable praise to is his defense. He most definitely should be first team all defense. He's been special this year. The offense still has its work to do, or he has his work to do with his offensive game. The game against the Warriors was hideous, no doubt about it, but he bounced back very nicely. I'm not going to hate on Jaden McDaniels from here on out. I just still firmly believe he will not reach the ceiling of Jaylen Brown.
It's funny how a guy that loves two-way defense and efficiency.
That's why I'm giving him his respect.
Isn't turned
Giving
down,
him his respect.
Isn't turned on by a win
know,
that
John,
can do everything.
I said I'm not hating on him.
Shoots
John,
39%
you know what I just
from three.
You know what I just looked
He's
up?
nice, bro. Get the cap. He's
McDaniels?
good.
Oh,
Yeah.
he's solid.
You know, I looked at the Jaylen Brown year 3 stats because McDaniels in year 3. Jaylen Brown did not have not 1 month where he averaged over 15 points. Year 3.
Listen, Jaden McDaniels defensively clears. He's gonna be all defensive first team this year. Jaylen Brown is a good defender last year. This year he's taken it down a notch, but gotten better recently. But defensively, Jaden McDaniels, I'm with you. And Edwards and Tatum. I'm a Tatum guy. I'm always going to take him in. If you want to say Ant Edwards has a higher ceiling than Tatum, you're talking about him legitimately being the best player in the NBA because that's what Tatum's ceiling is.
Yes.
So if you think Ant could be the best player in the league,
Yes.
each their own. I mean,
he can
God.
be that.
Will
but
he
Jaden
ever be
McDaniels-
better than Giannis?
No.
Well, Giannis would probably be. Giannis would be like 30.
28.
Giannis would be 35 when Ant-Man's like 27, bro.
He had to be better with Tatum.
Ant is 21.
Trying to think like the next.
Yeah, he could be better than Ja. He could be. Will he
like
ever
the
be
young
better
guys,
than
he's
Devin
better than
Booker?
Jaws,
Anthony-
Cades.
Huh?
Crazy.
Yes.
He could be better than SGA,
Yes. He can be better than Booker.
God.
than D Book. It's a conversation. I mean, he's
That's
already
pretty
averaging
reasonable.
fucking 27
I mean, he does
playing
a lot more at
defense.
the rim.
But
just
offensively,
just say you
McDaniels has a long
betrayed
way to go.
Devin
And I
Booker.
know the year
He's your guy.
three, comparing him to Jaylen
Are you
Brown,
loyal to anyone?
you could talk. But Jaylen Brown, he's averaging
Honesty?
27. We're
Yeah.
talking about Brown has taken significant leaps. Jaden McDaniels has a long way to go in that regard.
All I'm saying is that when you watch Jaden McDaniels play,
He has flashes.
you can tell that it's there.
He has flashes.
It's not
It
that
is.
it's non-existent. It is there. You can see it.
He's good.
That's why I made the comp, because it's there. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen.
It's
And-
just Tatum's Brown's
it-
averaging 27. He's not averaging 22, having a nice season. Brown is averaging
Yeah.
like one of the top
Brown-
scorers in the league.
Joel, sorry. We've seen Jalen go from 13 points in his third season to 20 in his fourth. And this year we've seen him take it to 27 points. He's gotten incrementally better every year.
This guy's
When
trying
I
to
watch-
nitpick year 3. You make me sick.
What?
He never averaged 15,
Listen,
not
I
one.
understand. I
No,
understand.
Not a soul cares.
I understand context because people are gonna say, "Oh, Gordon Hayward, Kyrie were there."
Yeah,
then they
thank
left.
Thank you.
I understand, but when we talk about just a player, like if McDaniels was in a similar situation where, let's say magically next year, Cat's not playing and Gobert leaves too, or Conley leaves too, two of their better players, then yeah, McDaniels would take a 20-point leap. That doesn't mean that he's not that level of player though.
Well,
So
we
the
know
first
Conley's
game-
It's
not.
situation.
I apologize.
You're
The
good.
first game, we see Karl Anthony Towns back with the regular lineup. It goes hand in hand with Jaden McDaniels' worst game in that stretch, right?
He played a minute.
Jaden McDaniels played 1 minute.
No, he played 10 minutes versus the Warriors.
He had like 5 fouls.
Oh yeah, because he got into foul trouble
Yeah,
very quickly.
versus the Hawks though, when Cat played and he had 22.
no
McDaniels
doubt.
had 25.
Who didn't play?
No, he played against the Hawks. Cat
Anthony
did.
Edwards.
Oh, Edwards, my bad. Okay.
My point being is when you have Cat in the lineup, the primary offensive responsibility will be Karl Anthony Towns and Anthony Edwards. I agree with your statement. Let's say Karl Anthony Towns gets hurt, Jaden McDaniels will maximize that opportunity, but because he would then fall down to the third option, most likely, although playmaking responsibilities is primarily been focused on Mike Conley, although he still gets his whenever he finds the opportunity. Jaden McDaniels most likely will still be the number 3 option. But I find it hard for him to continue to replicate those performances that we saw without Cat, without Anthony Edwards, when both Anthony Edwards and Cat are on the floor.
Versus in the Hawks game, Naz Reid had 26 in that game.
Nas Reed's another dog too that we haven't
He's a-
that we did not
great-
bring up.
great
Oh,
either.
he's
player.
amazing. He's
He's
the
mad
best backup
good.
big in the league,
Jersey.
I believe. One of them at least.
No, that's
He could be a
fine.
starter. if Cat is back next
Bobby
season,
Portis.
Bobby
Portis, Naz Reid.
Conversation, yeah.
Christian Woodman.
next season, if Cat is fully healthy, this team stays healthy and they're all together, McDaniels will average like 17, 18 a game, which it's not 20 like Brown, but you also have to take into account the context of the situation.
How great his defense is.
His ceiling defensively clears, but his ceiling offensively, flashes are there, but Brown has turned to one of the better scorers of the league. That's why I just don't think he'll make up for it in his defense, which is, you could have the argument, if you're an elite defensive player, one of the best perimeter defenders in the league, and you could put up 20, does that equate to average defense and 27 on offense?
Yeah, I mean, everything is situational. Like, for Jaylen Brown to take this leap, Kemba Walker had to leave. And Kemba was averaging 20 at a point in time. And that was when JB was averaging 20. I'm saying he was around that number. The thing about the Wolves, and this is why I was so high on them in the offseason, is that you have Anthony Edwards, who I think is already a top 20 player in the league. Yeah. And Cat is that as well at his best. Like, Karl-Anthony Towns and Jaylen Brown is a conversation, and you could lean Cat as the better player when he's fully healthy. You could. He's that good.
He is.
So, I mean, when Jaden McDaniels is playing behind two guys like that, of course his numbers are not going to look
that's,
like that.
That's the perfect role for Jaden McDaniels.
For now, yeah.
With Jaylen, it probably will always be. Because with Jaylen Brown, his ability to get to the rim with his frame, his strength, his athleticism, that gives him that star upside to get to the rim and do it from all three levels. Whereas with Jaden McDaniels, he is limited. 185 pounds, smaller frame, thinner frame, I should say. And he's not the same athlete, doesn't have the same pop at the rim. But he does have the body control. He has the feel for the game because he's gotten those reps. Yeah. So Jaden McDaniels will probably be the perfect number 3 for Minnesota. And this year we added Cat into the mix. The question is, Joel, can the Timberwolves shock the entire world and still win a playoff series in spite of all their injuries this year?
They can. They can win a playoff series.
How many playoff series?
They could win 2.
Here we go again.
Oh, my God.
Wow. They would play the Kings. Excuse me, no, because the Kings are the 3rd seed. Yeah. They would play the Grizzlies, or if they don't win...
No, they're the 6th seed right now. The Timbs.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
Play the Kings in the first round.
I mean, we'll see what happens in a day. But
are you sure?
Yeah, I'm pretty...
I know that Timbs fans, from what I see on Twitter, Kings fans understand the Wolves are a bad matchup, and they don't really want to face them.
So the Warriors are 7?
Yep. Wolves are 6.
Because the Wolves own the tiebreaker over the Warriors because they beat them.
Got it. Okay. Well, I'm just going to assume that the Warriors finish above them.
So you think Minnesota could beat Denver or Memphis
for the Kings?
Or
they could be Memphis.
Phoenix
for sure. They could be Memphis. They could smoke Memphis.
Remember last year?
I guess they.
I feel confident this year. Again,
you cannot feel that confident.
I liked my chances last year. I liked my chances last year.
Sorry,
would you say that that game
versus Minnesota,
the game against the Warriors, was the worst that the Wolves have looked in a long time?
Recently,
offensively. By far. It was horrible offensive performance.
You're going to have to get shit together quick. You're going to have 6 games to get this team together.
I keep telling you, though. They are... Yeah, that's fair.
They could lock up.
But the big reason why I am not high on the Wolves is because, again, Karl-Anthony Towns was missing. They found an identity, mostly defensively. The offense has lacked. It's been primarily just Anthony Edwards, and as of recent, Jaden McDaniels. Mike Conley, obviously, is a great initiator of the offense. But the first game that Cat is back with the normal Anthony Edwards, Jaden McDaniels, Mike Conley, Rudy Gobert, it's their worst offensive output. It's against the Warriors defense that has not been good.
The Warriors defense at home.
I mean,
listen, I'm honestly not gonna look too much into a game where Cat's playing his first time with Cat.
I just found it ironic. That's all I'm saying. It was ironic.
I think. Listen, if like 3-4,
would you call it irony?
No, I think it's just they're getting back into the mix. They still won the game.
They did. All 4 of these games have been.
And that's one thing. Hey, I can't discredit that Karl-Anthony
Towns
shot.
All that matters
because that Karl-Anthony Towns shot was tough. To have the stones to take that shot in transition was crazy.
The Wolves have better personnel this year. Rudy Gobert, rim protector. Jaden McDaniels, wing stopper, he's grown into that. Kyle Anderson is a do-it-all Swiss Army knife for them. Naz Reid is one of the best backup bigs in the league.
He is.
And the Grizzlies last year in the playoff series, who was the one that was really punishing the Wolves? It was Brandon Clark on the boards. Brandon Clark was unstoppable on the boards for them. He's out. And I think that's huge. I think he's definitely a spark.
And it also does depend on Steven Adams' health come playoff time. Obviously, he's been a huge loss for them. And you mentioned
Cat to smoke him either way.
That's gonna get his.
Steven Adams?
Yeah. Last year he guarded
ability to stretch.
Yeah. All I'm saying is
Jaren Jackson's gonna pick up.
Listen, all I'm saying is that they can beat them, bro. they can beat them.
Would you take them in 7?
Take them at 6.
Calm 6?
Calm.
I don't know. I
mean
just worry
that.
about this Wolves team getting together with 6 games left of the season. You have to go against a Grizzlies team who, I mean, you missed Ja for the last, 8-10 games, but for the most part, they have the continuity there. They've been the better team all season long, obviously Cat being out, but I have a hard time thinking all of this could come together. They go win a playoff series or even 2, like you're saying.